something that I've learned is that the Lotus experience is very connected to people's Bloomington experiences. Whether you are from here or you are a transplant or you're a student.
Burgers, tacos, pizza. Oh my! Season 7 of the No Dishes podcast is here. Once again, brought to you by Visit Bloomington. Check them out at visitbloomington.com. Especially if you live in Bloomington, you'll find out about all this cool stuff going on around town that you had no idea about. Also, please support our other advertisers on this episode. The best way to show us some love is to show them some love. You already know what I'm going to say. Play that theme song.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine for lights and have a good time. No dishes. No dishes.
Coming up the first weekend of October, usually it's late September this week or this year. It's the beginning of October. We've been with Chocolate Moose. I've been organizing the Food Truck Village for a very long time, but for much longer than that, for 31 years now, the Lotus World Music and Arts Festival has been going on in Bloomington. It is a staple of our community, and here to share all the info about its history, about her history, about what you could expect this year is the Executive Director, Katarina Koch. How's it going?
It's going great, Jordan.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Tell a little bit about the background of Lotus and what Lotus is.
Sure. So 1994 was the first festival, and it was just kind of born out of some friends who came together and wanted to put something really credible together. So very grassroots organizing, and they started that festival. They planned it in June of 1994 and had it going in October of 94.
Wow.
And then by 95, the foundation was started. And then every year since, there's been a Lotus Festival.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's the founders were really visionary, and they thought to bring the world to Bloomington. So that's what, for the last 31 years, the Music and Arts Festival brings artists from all over the world. I just counted recently, over 140 different countries have been represented.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a crazy number.
I think I was looking online, and this could be wrong, but the UN, I think, only counts 192 countries. So like we're
52 more to go.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I got to figure out which ones those are. So Bloomington has had this really rich, locally grown but globally connected festival for the last 3 decades, and it's really a rich experience. People say transformative, like they come, they feel transformed by the music, by like the discovery of new music, the experience of being downtown in Bloomington, and like the vibe, right? They talk about the vibe a lot.
Absolutely. And man, transformative, that's such a strong word too. So that's so cool that you've heard that time and time again.
It is. And it's honestly, it's what people want in the arts, for art and music to transform you in some way, to make you like, why else do we go to shows? We want to feel what the music makes us feel, and the connection to people. And that's really what I think the vibe is like you're out in the streets and you're connecting to all these people who you might not see throughout the rest of the year except at Lotus Festival, or you might see them at the grocery store. And being in that kind of scene is really special.
Yeah, that's so I guess like would the mission statement be like to bring world music and arts to Bloomington? Is that kind of what
it's
the
close.
backbone is? Okay,
to experience, celebrate, and explore the world's diversity through music and the arts.
I love you. So much more eloquent than what I just said. Garrett pulled up the website lotusfest.org for people that want to find more info, but we're going to cover a ton of it. One of my favorites that I've discovered over the years is Movits, the rap group from I think they're Swedish.
I think so.
And they are I've seen them twice now, I think, at the 6th Street tent.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people all the time drive around and they see the 4th Street tent, the 6th Street. They're like, what is going on? Because I remember when I first moved to Bloomington, had no idea what Lotus was, but I just knew Big Ten on 4th Street, Big Ten on 6th Street. A lot of road closures. You have the construction signs up that said like Lotus is going on. If someone has not been to Lotus yet, and maybe they're local, what would be some words of advice for them?
Yeah. Well, come just to explore. Come to without expectations. You know, a lot of times people they go to concerts or they go to festivals knowing the musicians that they're going to see, and that's why they go to them. Most of the time, people don't know the artists that are coming to Lotus, and that opens up the door for, like, not just finding new music, but finding new instruments and finding new cultures and fashion and food and, you know, all of the things that go along with exposing yourself to something different. What is different this year, and some folks are going to be disappointed, is we won't have a 6th Street tent.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we have downsized our footprint to 4th Street and Kirkwood. So we're going to extend from Walnut all the way down to Grant Street. We'll have the Arts Village back, and they will be located in front of the Monroe County Library.
Nice. Okay, because in the past they've been on 6 between Walnut and Washington.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Like
okay.
on the other side of the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've we really are choosing to be financially responsible within this like post-COVID world, and we will continue to grow back up, and people are going to want to see us with those big tents again. But this year we just needed to pull back so that we can be responsible and sort of tighten some of the loose ends of what it means to put together all this infrastructure and then grow from there.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. That's what I've kind of been looking to do with Bringing Back Taste next year, is scaling it back from what it used to be in hopes to grow it to what it was.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to just come back and be like, oh, we're just doing all of this and all this fencing and volunteers. And I mean, they grew that over 30, 40 years to the point that they were at, you know.
It's common, like right now, it's common for like a lot of organizations to have to kind of reestablish themselves, and the ones that are, you know, we're still here, like we're still kicking, and the reason is because there's so many people that are connected to this festival or something like the Taste. Like people want these things in their community, and they're going to do what they can to keep them. So do you know like the quote from 30 Rock, like you have to go into the crevasse. You have to go down in order to come back out.
I like
you know?
that. That's good. Yeah. No, but it makes sense. Absolutely. It's just such a big part of what makes Bloomington. Lotus Fest is, even though it's just once a year, but you also do the summer Lotus event. And then you mentioned again, you're just trying to afford putting on this event. How is it funded?
It's funded through a lot of means, and a diverse funding stream is important for a festival like this, because if you're only getting it from one source, like they don't last. So about 2/3 of our revenue comes from public sources like individual donors, corporate sponsors, and grants, and private foundations and things like that. And then 1/3 of those funds comes from ticket sales. So it's only a small portion of our funding that comes from ticket sales, and that's always been the case.
Yeah.
Because we are a nonprofit organization, we're trying to do something different. We're not trying to make a bunch of money just for like the point of the festival is to is an education component. It is like trying to bring exposure to things that we wouldn't necessarily encounter in our daily lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's so interesting. Like you said, the goal is to go see people you've never heard of. Typically, you're only buying tickets to like, oh, I love this song from this people or this band, you know? And it's just so different. It's like, I want to go explore the unknown. And like you said, if your ticket sales are only 1/3 of your revenue, that's a great deal for the people buying that ticket.
It is.
Because a lot of money went into whatever production or whatever it is you're seeing.
Yep.
And other than, I know I mentioned 4th and then the past 6th Street, you utilize a ton of venues like the Buskirk, like some of the churches. What are some of the other venues that you guys put performances on at?
Yeah, so we try to utilize venues that are already in the community, and utilize spaces that are maybe not used traditionally for concerts. So the Buskirk Chumley, the John Waldron Arts Center, those are two key. This is the second year we're at John Waldron, but it was one of the first venues that we started the festival.
Oh,
at.
okay. So it's kind of
there
come
was
full circle.
Yeah, there was like a gap there during the renovation and everything. So the churches were at First Christian Church this year, so only one church. But we've done them at Trinity Episcopal, the Methodist, Presbyterian churches, which are really great venues for having a very intimate, like quiet and just very close to the artist experience. And then, so 4 venues this year: 4th Street, Buskirk, Waldron, and First Christian.
Okay.
And then, of course, Lotus in the Park, which is on Saturday.
Yeah, and in the past, it's been at 3rd Street. It's also been at Switchyard Park. Where is it this year?
It's at 3rd Street, Waldron Hill and Buskirk Park.
Okay, so we are back to 3rd Street. Yeah.
People love coming back there. I mean, Switchyard is amazing. It is just huge. And so people really like that intimate vibe. And then it's close to downtown. So
it is walkable.
Yeah, we've done workshop tents at Lotus in the Park in addition to the main stage performance. This year we have those workshops in the Waldron Auditorium. So people can go to the Waldron on Saturday afternoon, noon to 4, same time as Lotus in the Park, and they can do dance workshops and body percussion workshops with artists who are coming in for that.
That's super cool. That's awesome. I mean, we've seen both with organizing food trucks or vending as Chocolate Mousse at 3rd Street and Switchyard. And we obviously put on Food Truck Friday every week at Switchyard Park and love it. But yeah, there is a really cool feel. It's just a little closer to downtown. And they have that nice stage that's kind of, again, like you said, it's more intimate, it's more compact. Whereas the stage at Switchyard is kind of over on the far side and it's spread out for really big things. But you guys get so many people to turn out for that. And that's it's like very family focused.
It is, yeah. And lots of activities for kids to do. And people feel free to let their kids just kind of run through the park. It's so fun. I think Switchyard is sort of like a goal, to think about how can we, in our growth stages, how do we utilize Bloomington as Bloomington's growing, better and more fun.
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
Yeah.
How much are you paying for your restaurant's business insurance? What's affordable for your needs? What does your agent do for you that isn't just policy writing? Tony Brown with First Insurance Group has a keen eye for the policies all restaurant owners and operators would love to have. Tony provides risk management and other HR resources free of charge as your agent. Tony has no waiting period for loss of business coverage starting from day 1, minute 1, unlike other carriers' 72-hour waiting period. Tony has no audit for liquor liability and general liability, saving you time so you can focus on running your restaurant. And Tony's insurance carrier is the preferred vendor of choice for the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association. Call or text Tony Brown with First Insurance Group today, 812-327-2321. Set up a free review of your current policy and see how Tony can help you protect your largest investment, your business. 812-327-2321. So how long have you personally been with Lotus and how'd you kind of get into the role you're in now?
Sure. I've only been with Lotus for a year. It's July 10th was my anniversary, 1-year anniversary. And when I first moved to Bloomington in 2013. Something that I've learned is that the Lotus experience is very connected to people's Bloomington experiences. Whether you from here or you are a transplant or you're a student who stayed, for the rest of their life or something like that. And same for me. I moved here to work in Bloomington, and then I went back to school and just found out about Lotus through friends. So I was like out on the streets and kind of like, always trying to find the after party and, just like, kind of young and like in that crowd of, I wish I could buy a ticket, but I'm not really wanting to spend the money. And so I'm just going to hang out in the street. Yeah. And, which by the way, like I should have just volunteered because that's what my friends were doing. They were like volunteering, getting a free night in and but anyways, I started a food business. I became a personal chef. And when I did that, I started to vend at other festivals. Yeah. So I was down in Paoli at the Paoli Fest, and I was slinging hot baked potatoes.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's one thing we don't have is a mobile baked potato vendor.
It was pretty cool. And the development director at that time, she knew me and she saw me there and she invited me to come cook for the summer night of Lotus. You mentioned the summer event. So I cooked for like a 200 person. It was my first time cooking for 200 people. And they worked with Jeff Meese and got me into was able to do an in-kind donation and get me to work in their what is that? The
One World Kitchen Chair?
The kitchen chair. And it was amazing to be able to work in that space. It was so cool. And then that was my first Lotus experience was cooking for the summer night.
Yeah,
and
how long ago was that?
It was 2018.
Okay. Yeah. So not too long ago.
Yeah. And I moved to Paoli for a while, Paoli, Indiana.
Yeah.
And while I was there, I stayed connected to people in Bloomington. I stayed connected to Lotus. And I found the e-newsletter. They were looking for a new executive director. And I had been on a journey to move my career into stronger, more leadership roles, especially in nonprofits. And so I took my chances and I got to ring the bell. Here I am.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thanks,
It's just such a cool organization. I've worked with, Jillian and Tamara. I always mispronounce her name and she gives me such a hard time every single time. And it's been just such a pleasant experience over so many years.
That's awesome.
Lotus is near and dear to my heart.
It's such people feel so close connected to it. It's one of the that's one of the most amazing things about the festival is how many volunteers and community members have ownership of its existence. And it's why it's still here. And it's why it's still going.
Are you still looking for volunteers?
Oh yeah. We are. Cool. I could use more volunteers and you can sign up online.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So you can sign up at lotusfest.org. And so what is it? You work one night and then you get to go to the other night for free?
Yeah, exactly.
Seems like a pretty sweet deal.
It's a great deal. You also get a free t-shirt, free button, and they were designed by Sam Bartlett this year.
Oh, nice.
A local artist, yeah.
Yeah, so I've, my one gripe is I've never gotten a Lotus shirt. And I'm out there just organizing. I'm like, I'm with Lotus, but I'm not, I guess. So I'm
You're going to get a t-shirt this year.
Thank you. 2XL. Whole reason I brought you here was to bring up me getting a t-shirt. No, Chocolate Moose we've been a proud sponsor too for as long as I've been on board for 10 plus years, where we'll donate 10% of our sales from all of Lotus weekend. So that's been something that's been really cool for us to do. And that was before we even organized the Food Truck Village. That was back when we were just in the old stand before we had even thought of Food Truck Friday to begin with.
Wow.
Yeah. So where are you from originally before you kind of came to Bloomington in 2013?
Yeah, I grew up in Crown Point, Indiana.
Oh, we've got quite a few regions on here lately. I feel like it's becoming a trend.
Yeah, but I've been living in Southern Indiana for 11 years now, so it's been a while. Yeah, that's
where I feel like I've gotten my honorary townie card in 15 years. So, but people are like, if you didn't go to high school here, you don't have it. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Are you from Indiana?
Yeah, I'm from Carmel originally, but born in West Virginia, in a house in the hills of West Virginia, but grew up in Carmel since I was 4. Cool. Lived in Broderpool for a year out of high school. Loved that, and then came down here and I was already coming down here all the time. All my friends went to school down here, and it just sucked me in. I just love Bloomington. There's the food, the arts, the shows, the lake, it's got everything. Yeah, it is, and I'm still a big Colts and Pacers fan, and it takes, especially now that 69 connects to 465, it's like it takes under an hour to get to a Colts or Pacers game. Yeah. So it's
kind of like a great bedroom community option for, if you want to commute up to Indy or something.
Yeah. And I
still live in this community. I think my brother lives in Chicago and his boss lives in Bloomington, and he takes the bus to Chicago every week.
That's crazy.
But he wants to live here. So.
That's super cool. Yeah. I didn't even know that was an option. To commute that far, maybe, once a week. Yeah. But yeah, I even just went over to an IU soccer game last night. It's just 5 minutes from my house, and we're watching a world, as far as college teams go, IU is world class. Awesome. And it's just that's right there. It's $10 for a ticket. Assembly Hall's there, Memorial Stadium. There's just all these things that having the university around kind of brings.
Are there any secret places that you really like to go in Bloomington that?
Oh man. Well, I can't expose the secrets. Yeah, no, that's a great question. If there are, they're not something that I think of as a secret. But yeah, everyone knows the waterfall over at Cascades, or there's all those little, Flat Rock over in, but none of them are top secret. Yeah. I'm not that cool. I'm working on it. I'm trying slowly but surely. Well, yeah, welcome to Southern Indiana 11 years later.
Yeah.
We're getting Garrett. I feel like, do you remember who else it was? I feel like 3 of our last 4 have been from the region. No, he doesn't. Okay.
No, I don't know. Was it Pat East?
Yeah, that might have been it. I know, I'm racking my brain.
Was it John Fernandez?
Yeah, the ones we put out to. No, was it John? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It's just the region.
We'll put it on the screen. Yeah.
Or the Bake Guys?
I think it was one of the Bake Guys. I think that's right. I think that's true. All right, sorry, I'm like a squirrel.
That's all right. Okay.
So what can people expect this year specifically at Lotus as far as music, arts, maybe some of the groups or solo performers that you're really excited about?
Yeah. I am super excited for Tel Mary and Habasana. They are only playing on Thursday night. So it's definitely, you have to get your own, like it's a separate ticket, Thursday ticket, and then you can get your weekend, Friday and Saturday, and then your Sunday tickets. So Thursday and Sunday are just at the Buskirk Chumley Theater. They're not like all over the place.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and it's going to be a really cool show. So it's definitely one to check out. And there's some really amazing artists coming for Friday and Saturday. If you haven't, check out like the Spotify playlist. You can listen to who's who.
So if you just type in on Spotify Lotus like World Music and Arts, you'll be able to find it.
That's a good question. I don't know about. I haven't actually searched us through Spotify, but you can find us on the website, and the website has all of the artist bios, links to their YouTube videos, and
super cool,
and their music. There's artists coming from Ukraine, Pakistan, representing Tibet, and a lot of countries from Latin America. One of the things that helps us fund our artists is grants like the Mid-Atlantic Arts Grant. It's Performing Arts Global something page is what it's.
Yeah, okay.
And the Page Grant brought Las Guaracheras and Lucien Dom, and they're going to be really incredible. Lucien is from Brazil, and Las Guaracheras is from Colombia. So those would be great shows to see.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's again, it's so weird because I'm just like, I want to see names that it's like you see a festival, you see like Lala or Bonnaroo, and you're just like, oh, who are these people that I know? It's like you're going for the opposite.
Yeah.
It's all about exploring and finding new people that you have no idea about and exposing
and music that you may never have heard before.
Yeah.
People, I mean, last year it was my first festival in this role, and people were on fire about this one artist, San Salvador. And they, it's like when you listen to them on Spotify, it's like, yeah, cool. This is cool music. But when you see it live, that venue, the BCT, they were playing there, it was packed both nights. And that only comes from live music experiences when you're like, holy cow, this is really giving me the chills. This is making me feel all of the
exactly
the good
how I felt about Movitz, because I went and listened to Movitz on Spotify, and it was good, but it wasn't the live show. The live show was like, oh my God, where has this been my whole life?
Yeah. And live music, it's had since COVID, it's had it's coming out of its like that, those dark days, and like we got to get back onto the streets. We got to see live music again and support live performing artists.
Yeah, 100%. It's just again, you're supporting, and it's just good for your soul.
Yeah.
Don't miss Constellation Stage and Screen's upcoming production of Wipeout on stage September 5th through 29th at the Constellation Playhouse. 3 70-year-old women on surfboards, 1 19-year-old hot rod instructor, the currents of the Pacific Ocean. What could possibly go wrong? Wipeout is a poignant comedy about friendship, grief, and the unpredictable tides of life. See Wipeout on stage September 5th through 29th in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at cconstellation.org.
The Spotify playlist is called 2024 Lotus Festival.
Ooh, there you go. Garrett says the Spotify playlist is called 2024 Lotus Festival. And it is fairly extensive. I'm going to start bumping this.
And the account is just Lotus Indiana.
Yeah, the account is Lotus Indiana. There you go. Yeah, no, we
got some sweet playlists. So we've got some really cool visual arts experiences happening this year.
Oh, nice.
One of the things that we decided to do, so the festival, the Friday of the festival falls on the gallery walk first Friday. So we decided to partner together.
That's
and
great.
Yeah, so there's several venues that that participate in gallery walk that are going to have sort of art that is kind of connected to community art or international art or festival art and just art of other countries. And that is just another opportunity to deepen your festival experience by going to those venues that are throughout downtown Bloomington.
Yeah. Is there anything else that's going on with the festival as far as the music or the arts that we haven't touched on yet?
I mentioned the workshop tent or the workshops at the Waldron. That's a new venue for us to be doing workshops at the Waldron on Saturday. But we also have visual arts exhibits in the Waldron that start September 22nd and go all the way through October 13th. So this year we did a program called Lotus at 30. It's sort of a preservation of institutional memory, oral history gathering, and digitization of all of our history, basically.
Wow, yeah.
And we are pulling out all 30 years of festival t-shirts, volunteer t-shirts, any kind of like artwork that's been made over the last 30 years. And so we're putting it up in the Spotlight Gallery, which is the upstairs of the Waldron, and the Education Gallery, which is the lower level of the Waldron.
That's super cool.
So we'll have a soft opening on September 22nd. So it's open to the public. You can come out and see the show before the festival weekend. And then the Miller Gallery, which is like the main level, they are having it's called Ashokbo. It's an art movement from Nigeria that it's gonna be a gorgeous exhibition, and that opens up October 13th. September 13th and goes through October 13th.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So you can go to the Waldron, you can see the Lotus art, you can see the international art, and enrich your festival experience.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. What's the kind of the standard? Obviously, it's varied with COVID and everything, but like attendance, you guys draw from all over.
We do. Yeah. I mean, last year I would have to pull the number just off the top of my head. But we had a lot of zip codes. You know, we were able to look at the zip codes who buy tickets and see where people are coming from. But I get calls from people saying like, "Hey, where's the best hotel to stay? Like, we're flying in on this date," and I'm always looking to help people, figure out where they're going to stay and what they're going to do while they're here in Bloomington.
Yeah, but I mean, it's easily 6,000. I feel like it's it's quite a few people.
Yeah, I mean, number ticket sales wise, I think last year we were around 4,000.
Wow, yeah.
So there was attrition like this. It's like COVID sort of was a reset for us. We had to rebuild back up our attendance. And that was, I want to say that was 20% more than the previous year.
That's great.
So we're hoping for another 20% growth. Yeah.
Well, but I know like 2019, 2018.
Oh yeah, those were high.
Yeah, really up there.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, it's all coming full circle back to what you started talking about, the vibe. Yeah. It's just being out on Kirkwood, on Walnut, downtown in Bloomington on like a nice fall night when you have everyone kind of moving from show to show and you have all these different options to go to. And then we have our food truck village right there between Washington and Grant on
is that right? Washington and Lincoln.
Lincoln, thank you. I was like, Grant doesn't sound right.
A little further.
Yeah.
That's a big food truck.
That's a lot of food trucks. But it's always, I just will never get tired. It's something that's very nostalgic for me now over the years to just like be out there and have all the festival goers coming through, and they come in waves. You can tell when a show gets out because we'll just kind of be chilling like, this isn't too bad. And then you just get smacked in the face. Everyone wants ice cream or, wants something from the food trucks.
So, you know a lot more about the food.
Yeah.
And like,
well,
what's going to be on the docket? Like, let's
do it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I think we're breaking news to you. I think I was supposed to have this info to you weeks ago, and here we are. We've both been busy. We've both had stuff going on. Yeah, Katarina's like, hey, by the way, that stuff you're supposed to have for me, can we just talk about that? But we have a great lineup. So I think it was Sean Benolkin, and this was maybe 8 years ago. He was like interning for Lotus and knew we had did Food Truck Friday. So we kind of partnered to put it on, and he helped for like 2 years, then graduated or moved on to something else. And then Lotus was just like, hey, we like this. Does Chocolate Moose just want to keep running Food Truck Village? And we're like, absolutely. And it's been really great. We have that one block Usually we bring in the trucks behind the bank, but this year it'll be a little different because they have the construction going on over there.
Yeah.
But we got alleyways and
I think we've got like water barricades instead of ballards going
nice.
up. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
I love
we
it.
got we got you.
Yeah. Well, I drove by it the other day and I'm like, well, normally we just bring people in there, but technically in the past we've always had that north, the alley that runs north-south between Lincoln and Washington where we could bring people in as well. But we've got a stacked lineup and in theme with Lotus, we try to have, and we're just very fortunate that the local food truck scene is very culturally diverse to begin with.
Yeah.
So we have Pinoy Garden doing excellent Filipino food. Chris and Maria, they just opened a shop over where Vine Street Barbecue used to be in Ellettsville.
Okay.
And so they have a brick and mortar now, Pinoy Garden Cafe. They're fantastic. Hawaiian Hoosier with Stacy is also out there. They're excellent. And Ube Love. They're part of the family and they make like ube desserts and stuff. But Pinoy Garden's going to be there. They're the only one that won't be there Friday and Saturday, but they will be there Friday night. Friday, what we do is we move Food Truck Friday from Switchyard Park to Kirkwood, which is also the other cool thing about doing this is it's our 1 week of the year where we're like, you won't see us at our normal spot because we run every Friday, beginning of April through the end of October. And to get to move it to Kirkwood is like, I mean, that's as cool as it gets.
Yeah.
We're like, Future Friday's on Kirkwood. So normally we run from 11 to 9 because of Lotus, we run 11 to 11. So we're there 2 extra hours longer later into the night. And it's just, again, you got the lights of the busker. It's just an amazing vibe with all these food trucks, and we're not at Switchyard Park, which we love Switchyard Park, but Kirkwood's Kirkwood. So Bloomburger, legit might be one of the best. Have you had Bloomburger?
No.
Oh my God. Garrett, you've had Bloomburger, right? Oh yeah, you get it all the time. Never mind. Garrett's like a regular.
Of course.
I think I've heard of it. Is it a newer?
They're a few years old.
Okay.
But they are their burgers. I mean, it's tough. So I've always categorized burgers as like thick boys and like smash burgers. You got the thin ones or you have your thick boys. They do like thick boy burgers.
Okay.
But they have like a Greek burger, Japanese, like they have all these international twists on the different types of burgers. They do sweet potato fries. They've done this like pizza pretzel and it has this like red pepper sauce. I'm telling you, the burgers, get the burger. But this pizza pretzel with this red pepper pesto sauce
is out of this world.
Yeah, it's just like, it's very unique. I've never really tasted, and it's one of those things where you just have a bite of it and you're like, holy cow, and you just want to keep going back for more and more and more. So really excited to have Bloomburger, gourmet burger food truck, probably serving Bloomington, Indiana. I love it. Then we got Peely's. Everyone loves Peely's, knows Peely's, been around forever. Their first ever event was Food Truck Friday when we had it at the church lot. Peely and Armando have been on the podcast back when we were audio only. So that's a fun one if you ever want to dive back into old episodes to learn about their story. We were recording it with masks on, and that was a whole different time. But Peely's there, great Mexican food, tacos, burritos, you name it. We were just doing an event this last Friday together. I did their Al Pastor and their carnitas, and they're freaking perfect. Season 5 of the No Dishes podcast is brought to you by VisitBloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. Kebab on Wheels, Shafiq Nawab, he seasons his French fries very well. That's like the little thing with Kebab on Wheels. And he used to own Turquoise Cafe, Shafiq.
Okay.
And then Arepa Burger, Marcos and Nicole, it's Venezuelan. So they've got their what are the cheese sticks, Venezuelan cheese sticks. I'm blanking on the name of them.
They were at our Lotus Blossoms World Bazaar event.
Yeah, over at Fairview.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Well, just super sweet, nice people. All these people are. All the food truck community in Bloomington is incredible. Everyone gets along really well, and we're so fortunate as Chocolate Mousse and myself individually to just get to work with them. Tequeños, thank you. Really good tequeños. Garrett looked it up for me. Thanks for the assist, bud. And then there are arepas. I'm telling you, just tell them chef's choice. Just be like, give me something good. And I've never been let down. So Venezuela represented there. We have Planted. They have Nicole and Erica have done amazing vegan, or it's a vegetarian truck. It might be fully vegan. That's my bad. bad for not knowing. But Erica used to own Feast, the original Feast.
Yeah.
And so they are just very good about locally sourced ingredients, flavor profiles, making everything from scratch. Like not just scratch, like they're making it all.
I've seen their truck around town a lot. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I need to just step up to those counters and say, give me something, give me whatever chef's choice. That's a great way to just be able to try things.
Yeah, well, they know. Like, I get excited when someone comes to Chocolate Mousse and they're like, hey, make me something good. I'm like, I absolutely will.
Yeah.
Thank you for trusting me. I'm sure they look at me and they're like, that guy knows. Once he's tried it all. But yeah, they've got an incredible crew at Planted. They do really, really good food. They make a really good vegan ice cream too. And so excited to have them there. There's this one food truck. I'll come back to them. Then there's Itzo, Jason Soledine. He's been at some Food Truck Fridays. He's out of Indy. He's out of Mooresville. He does shake-ups, Philly cheesesteaks, sweet Thai chili, quesadilla. He's got probably the most eclectic menu of anyone. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then Little Bowl Thai, which it's Blooming Thai. They were on the square. They just reopened in the old Anatolia building on 4th Street. The best curry, I think the best pad thai with crispy chicken. Joy owns it. Peanut kind of runs it. Joy's very hands-on too though, but they are, man, I hate to ever just be like, this is the best, but like Little Bowl and Blooming Thai, there's all one and the same. They crush it. So for us to have that Thai food available at Food Truck Village is something we haven't had in the past.
Okay.
So I'm really, really excited
Sweet.
for that. I know.
That's great.
Yeah. Have you had them either?
I was actually going to go to dinner or lunch at Blooming Thai today, but they were closed on Tuesday.
Yep. That's one. It's Peanut's one day off. We were talking about it the other day. Because he's like, hey, man, you got to come in. He's like, just don't come Tuesday. Where that's the one day I get off. I'm like, all right.
Now I know. Yeah.
Well, I think it's smart because so many places close Monday.
Yeah.
And so they're just kind of like, okay, well, we'll be the place you can go to on Monday when everyone else is closed. And you guys can duke it out on Tuesday and we'll rest up, you know.
Nice.
Slop Shop, they do a ton of different types of Philly cheesesteaks. It's McKinley. He owns the Sinkhole, used to own Fairfax. But he's doing like an authentic Philly cheesesteak with like the real cheese whiz, which like no one else doesn't. No one else is offering Philly cheesesteaks with actual like the whiz, you know.
Wow.
And so I had that, and I know I mentioned Kebab on Wheels had like the well-seasoned French fries. The fries, I've only had them once, so it could be a fluke. I don't think it's a fluke though. These fries were the best like non-specialty fries I've ever had. Like I say that whereas they're just like salt and pepper.
Okay.
But like you go to like farm fries, tap fries, the old cotija cheese fries we used to do back in the day at Sweetgrass under the original owners. Like you got all this stuff on them and they're great.
Yeah.
But these are just hand cut fries, salt and pepper, but they were perfect. They were just, I don't even know how to describe it. But I know it was intentional and I hope they're always that way. Cause McKinley, if you're listening, I've been sending people your way, hyping these fries up.
I got to try all the different fries that are going to be there at.
You
just get the like a flight of fries.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what we'll do. You and I should just go around, or I'll text everyone ahead of time.
Yeah.
Gonna come around for fries in like 20 minutes.
I love that idea.
And then you and I will just go sit in the Chocolate Mousse tent. And Garrett, you can maybe record us and also eat. We'll like feed you. And we'll just go.
You're going to let me eat, Jordan?
No, get out of here. You know what I mean. That picture you pulled up though is great. Can you see what I'm talking about on those fries though? They taste.
Yeah, they look legit.
So the way I mentioned to someone
authentic
is like
potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned it to my buddy were like Penn Station fries, but like times 10. Like because the Penn Station fries are good, but a lot of times they're flimsy and salt. Like or Five Guys, they're like they crisp and they hold up, but they're not dry.
And the food trucks in this town are incredible. Like I'm just so like I don't know. I'm just like taken aback by how many amazing options there's going to be. Yeah, you know. This is what you do every Friday, right? Like
exactly. Yeah, every Friday at Switch Park, 11 to 9, free to attend. No, but it's an embarrassment of riches. Yeah. And it's all the people. Like I said, the people. They're amazing, and not only are they just amazing, sweet, kind-hearted people. They're the hardest working people in Bloomington. People see the busy lines at Food Truck Village or at Food Truck Friday. They're like, oh, I'm going to open a food truck and just make tons of money.
They're hustling.
They are hustling. They are working 80-hour weeks. They're making a lot they're working a lot to make, and once you consider all the expenses, it's maybe not as much money as you think it is. There's a lot of expenses that go into operating a food truck.
There's something so kind of like sexy and free about owning a food truck.
Oh, absolutely.
But any entrepreneur has to, you know, hit the grindstone. You know, it's not just like, you know, you can't just do a 9 to 5 with it, right? And you got to be able to go to all these different places and hit all these spots. I mean, Bloomington's lucky because there's places like the One World, you know, kitchen share, and there's you and Chocolate Mousse, and you're investing in community by bringing people together like this. But a lot of people just really have to hustle and go all over the place.
Well, and they're sacrificing when the money is to be made is when most people want to go and enjoy themselves. Friday nights, Saturdays, Sundays. So all the people that are running food trucks are sacrificing the fun days when all their friends are doing fun stuff and they're relaxing and licking their wounds on Monday and Tuesday when everyone else is back to work. It's very similar, you know, any restaurant you work in, you know, where you're just like, oh, a Friday night off. What? Better business, better community. For over a century, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce has been a cornerstone of business growth and community development. They are dedicated to helping local businesses thrive. Their business is all about your business. Join the Chamber today. Call 812-336-6381 or visit chamberbloomington.org to learn more. It's still kind of been the case more recently with the Chocolate Mousse. But serving, bartending, whatever, you would get a Friday night off randomly, but you had no one to hang out with because all your friends are in the industry and they're all working. So you're just like, what do I even do on a Friday night without working?
You watch Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah. The next one we have is Doner Kebab. Hamid, we had him on the podcast and one of our most watched episodes ever. And that speaks, I mentioned that because it speaks to just the person that he is and the food that he makes and the care he puts into it. Listening to him talk about food and describing, you know, him sharing his love through how he makes it, how he presents it, how he seasons it, was just incredible. So Doner Kebab is going to be there Friday and Saturday. The last one that I skipped over, it's a French food truck. Brand new. Don't know if they're going to be ready yet. They signed up. I told them to go ahead and sign up, save a spot, but they might not be ready by Lowe's, but they're trying.
Okay.
If they are open, they're doing like crepes and like French cuisine, which we've never had. That's awesome. Food truck in Bloomington. So again,
that's the guy from, is it the Wild School? What is it? The Forest School?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, cool. And then I also had the one that you had emailed over to me. They're out of like Chicago. And they had a really cool eclectic menu. We'll see if there's still a couple slots open. So this isn't the final list, but all the people I said, they will be there. Hopefully the French truck makes it. I forget what the name is or if they have settled on one yet. And then there's still like two, I think there's like 1 or 2 slots open Friday still, and like 2 or 3 open Saturday.
Cool. So people can, if they're making food, they can just contact you.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay Davis at moosebeatown.com. What a good host, Ketter. Thanks for having me on the podcast. This is great.
I'm just serving you
No, yeah, you're just teeing it up, and I'm trying to knock it out. You're too good at it. It comes too natural. Yeah, you're like, it's the same as like when I do the radio show with Mike Glascott every Wednesday. He just tees it up, and it just makes me look good. So thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so I have a few slots open. It's just, again, such a diverse range of food, and it's all local businesses. You have, a couple that are coming in from out of town, but for the most part, it's all Bloomington businesses, and they're people that like your money's staying here. They care about, they're members of the community. Their kids go to school here. Yeah. So it's cool because you have the international flair with the local element. And that's, if that doesn't sum up what Lotus is, I don't know what does.
Yeah, absolutely. It's local festival and global reach.
Yeah. Yeah. Global flavor. And at Lotus in the Park, we're going to have Peely's, Hamid with Doner Kebab, Chocolate Mousse, and the third truck is still TBD.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. In the past, we've done 2, and they've had a really long line the whole time. Yeah. So we're going to try to cut down the line, wait a little bit, but
cool. It's going to be such a good time.
Yeah.
Lotus in the Park is always just, I don't know. You can just be out there sitting on a piece of grass, and like just
Yeah.
soaking up the energy that's out there. It's so great.
Yeah, and they're all their own little individual feels. So you said Thursday night, incredible people, and it's a standalone event at the Buskirk. Friday, Saturday are kind of all rolled into one.
Yeah.
But then you have the Lotus in the Park, which is a whole different vibe than the Kirkwood vibe.
Yeah.
That's why I don't keep a pen on here. Normally I don't have any paper, but I wanted to make sure I had the trucks down.
Well, and like it gives you, if you're coming from out of town, like you have something to do on Saturday afternoon, then, it gives you like a whole weekend of things to do. And then Sunday, we also have our closing concert. That's kind of the anchor of the event of the weekend. And Lucy Ann Dom will be there, as well as Ashley Watkins and Andrew Smalls. And so incredible international artists. It's usually more kind of relaxed vibe, but Lucy Ann will be bringing some energy, so it'll be fun to be there. This year's a little different. Normally, people remember the pin gets you in. This is like you buy the pin; it's your ticket into Sunday. Well, we're not doing that this year. It's just the pin. You get a free pin when you attend. So you get a regular ticket for Sunday. You show up to that. To the event, and we'll give you a free pin when you come in, which people love. These are collector's pins. They're made with enamel, and we love. They're, and again, designed by local artists. Our festival T-shirt and the pin was designed by Sally Harless. She also goes by Sadly Harmless Illustrations, and she did our shirts this year. So. It's going to be good.
I love it. Yeah. Showcasing international art, utilizing local artists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a personal favorite you're looking forward to this year, or is it all people you haven't seen really?
I haven't seen anybody.
Yeah.
And that's how I go into this. My favorite thing is actually walking around and checking in on volunteers. The volunteers make this festival happen. Like, we could not do it without them. In some of our healthier years, we've had up to like 600 volunteers.
That's wild.
This year, we're looking at around like 400.
That's crazy. Yeah. There's so much work that goes into organizing that many volunteers too.
Absolutely. And Lotus has just been, every year we've relied on people to come together. And I think it's like a really good exchange, not just the free night, the T-shirt, but you get to then become part of this community of volunteers. A lot of people make friends with other volunteers, and like they see each other every year and come back, and it's a really good opportunity to, like, I consider it a bucket list activity, for people in their Bloomington experience.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Well, and just the fulfillment of knowing you helped put on such a cool event.
Yeah.
That's super cool. The Bloomington Town Planner is a community calendar owned and published by local residents John and Sharon Martin. Mailed out to Bloomington homes in December of each year, it features school schedules and community events. And don't forget the coupons at the bottom of the calendar. They'll save you money and help you decide on the next restaurant or retailer to check out here in the Bloomington area. Town Planner also has an online calendar, which can be found at townplanner.com. Make sure to sign up for their weekly e-newsletter so you can stay on top of all the fun events going on around town. Anything else regarding Lotus that we haven't covered that you want to make sure people know about?
Yeah, we have a few early events that are happening this year. So I mentioned the early soft opening at the Waldron on September 22nd at 5 p.m. That's actually, it's going to be right before the Vesson and Hawktail performance that Bloomington Roots is putting on over at the Far Center. And then we have on September 17th, we partnered with IU Cinema. We've got a showing of Around the World in 4 Days, which is a film that Merrill Hatlin directed and put together. He's been a longtime Lotus videographer and photographer for us. And then October 1st, we have a really exciting event where we're bringing Bread and Puppet Theater. They're a radical political theater from Vermont. They show up in a touring bus, and they stay with friends and family throughout, wherever they're going on their tours, and they put on a really cool large scale puppet performance. Yeah, so this is happening out. So October 1st. It's a donation only event. So it's they literally want you to pass the hat.
What's the first? Is that Tuesday?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
And it's going to be out at Loesch Farms, which is Jeff Meese's farm out on the west side.
That's super cool. I'm so mad he's doing his thing coming up, but I have to work.
Oh, dang.
I know. He's got his whole like, come on out and
Oh, yeah. Like a
big old
big
fire,
party.
and it's a pitch-in dinner with hundreds of people, and
Oh, gosh.
but it's a zero waste event, and
Dang, that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's super cool. But anyway, I'm mad I can't go.
That's one thing we have tried really hard looking for more composting. I think by next year's festival, we're gonna have more opportunity for composting waste and like trying to reduce the waste of the festival.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's great.
Of course we recycle and have trash, but yeah, I mean just doing whatever we can to reduce the footprint of the impact of having thousands of people downtown. For 4 days.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like it goes hand in hand with what Lotus stands for and what Lotus is. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I'm pumped. Before we let you go, is there any place that you love to go to for lunch or dinner or breakfast, or places that you'd like to shout out, restaurants within our community?
Yeah. I really love going to the Rush Hour station.
Yeah, Rush Hour doesn't get enough love in here. Yeah. They're so good, and I feel like that we used to mention them all the time, and we haven't mentioned them in a while. So I'm glad you brought up Rush Hour.
It was just like I had a friend who took me there one time, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm coming back here again."
Yeah, it's a hidden gem just in a strip mall.
Yeah,
And,
there's so many good restaurants, though. I mean, we at Summer Night at Lotus, we had. I'm trying to remember
Marco and Polo.
Marco and Polo.
Oh my God, they're so good.
So delicious.
Uyghur restaurant where Dats used to be. It used to be a yellow house. Now it's a red house on Grant in between 3rd and 4th. But just a really sweet couple
Super
that makes
sweet.
really great food. Yeah. My favorite part is their menu. It has a whole lamb for like $500. And I just need to ask, like, what's the notice you need for that? But yeah, they catered the Lotus Summer Nights, and I brought the ice cream out there and got to try some of the scraps when like no one was getting ice cream, so I snuck in there and made a little plate, and it was like so good. I was like, man, where'd you guys get this from? So I was like, oh, Marco and Polo. I was like, oh, I've been there. It's so good. It makes total sense.
Yeah, I think just buy your tickets. You could buy your tickets at the Buskirk Chumley online. You can buy them in person at the Buskirk box office. Go to our website, get any information you need. Give us a call if you've got questions.
Yeah.
We are trying to put on a really great festival this year, and we want everyone to show up for it.
Cool. I love
it. Great.
Just like you even said, like the executive director is giving people tips on where to stay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they are here to help, and it's Hoosier hospitality at its finest. I can't thank you enough for letting Chocolate Moose and myself be a part of it, and just you taking the time to be here today.
Thank you. It's so great to be with, talk with you and to have you as our partner. And you're getting a volunteer shirt this year.
Let's go! All right, lotusfest.org. Check it out. Katarina, thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next time. There you go. You can't laugh, Carrot. All right, here we go. There you go, little fella. Oh, what another great episode. Thanks so much to Season 7 presenting sponsor. Visit Bloomington. Check them out. Visit Bloomington.com. As always, keep those hands dry. This episode of the No Dishes podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.